Hey, it's your girl, Miss Makeup. Okay, for real, let me just start off and tell you, I'm repping an old Miss Jersey. Not on purpose, but you wouldn't believe the day I had today. So I woke up today and I was like, you know what? I haven't done a vlog in a moment, so I'm gonna go to the gym today. Did a little kickboxing aerobics. Yeah, I still have on my workout clothes. Went to go get my lovely model. And wouldn't you know it, I got a blowout. I was like, out of all the days in the world, blowout, I mean, what else could go wrong? So, needless to say, no makeup, still looking good though. Sweaty, but it's all good. Little workout. So today what we're gonna do, last time I showed you how to pick your perfect shade of foundation. So today I'm actually going to show you how to put an entire face on, starting from the beginning to the end. So stay tuned. And if you have any questions, ask me at the end. And thank you for subscribing. All right, so the first thing that I like to do is I like to prep the skin. And usually, like, she has beautiful skin, but we see she has a few breakouts. Who doesn't? I get them right here. So she's already washed her face. And I always tell people, hey, before you start covering your face with makeup, you might want to treat that area, take care of your skin, then you won't feel like you always have to cover it. So my suggestion is go find a really good acne kit. I use this every once in a while when I have my breakouts. You don't have to use this brand. I just love this brand because it works, gets rid of my acne within 2 days. So I start with an acne wash. I follow up with a serum. Serums are more concentrated, so they actually help clear up those problem areas. And then I apply, sometimes if needed, on the particular area. This is actually a spot treatment. Now, the reason these are so small, because you get it in an acne kit. So they come in smaller sizes. You can try it out. If you don't like it, you can return it. But at least you don't have this huge amount that you're committed to. So I've already prepped her skin and everything. We've already applied those products. What I am going to do is I'm going to give her a nice little moisturizer before I put on anything else. So what I'm going to use, if you do have acne, they do have oil-free hydrating. You still want to hydrate your skin. A lot of these acne products will dry your skin out, so you want to make sure that you're keeping the hydration coming, because usually what happens is acne comes from oil, sweat, different things like that. So most people think if I dry my skin out, I won't break out. Not true. You still need water. So get a really good, make sure it says hydrating, oil-free, and make sure it has an SPF. Because if you're using acne products, you have to protect your skin, otherwise you'll make it worse. So I'm just going to lightly moisturize her skin. And she does need like a little bit of moisture, because as I told you, the acne products will dry you out. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Alrighty. And then you want to let that soak in. Give it about 5 seconds. Go make a pot of coffee. Go let the dog out. Just let the moisturizer set a little bit. And then the next thing that I like to do is I like to prime. Why primer? Because before your foundation, you want to make sure that your foundation has something to stick to and that the foundation doesn't run off. I talked about that on my other segment, so we know what primer's for. Don't have to be this brand. Again, if you have acne and you're worried about that, this is a really good oil-free one. This is also a pro prime. It helps if you have like open pores to tighten those pores and diminish that look. So I'm actually going to go with this one today, but you can use any brand that you think is really great for your skin. And you could put it on with a brush. A lot of times primers work very well when you use your hands. Alright, my screen is gonna blink a little bit. It's okay, don't worry about that. That gives us a little background effect. Alright, so now that we have her primer on, what I like to do is actually conceal those areas. So I'm actually going to take a lovely concealer palette, and I'm going to use my wonderful concealer brush. It's just a regular flat, I think this is Eco Tools. I have been using it for a while. Any kind of concealer brush you want to use. One of my other favorites, because you can really blend it, is a brush that's made like this. I actually got this from Sephora. It's a Pro Airbrush Concealer Brush. It actually blend out the edges and smooth it so it looks natural. So what you want to do when you're concealing areas, you want to use a color that is close to the skin. When you're lightening under the eye, you use a shade 1 or 2 shades lighter. But if you're concealing areas or problem areas, you want to use the same color as your skin. So I'm actually going to do that. And I actually kind of mix 2 colors together because I don't want it too light and I don't want it too dark. And I'm just dabbing the concealer on the spot. I'm going to come back and blend it out, blend the edges out, but I just want to cover the area. Now, again, good skincare regimen clears all this up really fast, and then let's conceal it. But if you're like me, when that time of the month comes, there's nothing stopping those bad boys. Quick note too, if you get breakouts on your forehead, that comes from stress. If you get it right here, that's hormone, and if you get it on your cheeks, that's from your diet. So pay attention to where your marks are. So I'm going to go back in with my trusty dusty, I have 2 of them, trusty dusty Pro Airbrush, and all I'm going to do is just blend it out, blend out the edges. I don't want to go on top of the area that I concealed because I don't want to move it. I actually want that part to be covered. I'm just blending out the edges that way, so that it'll blend into her skin and it won't stand out. You don't want to have concealer noticeable on your face. And if you have dark spots, if they're like bluish acne marks, you can use a concealer with an orange base to X out that darkness. And if it has a purplish, you can use a concealer that's a little bit yellow. Okay, so now we have all her areas concealed. Now I'm going to put on her foundation. I don't want to compromise all of that work I've just done. I've already laid the concealer, so I don't want to take a foundation brush and start doing like this and moving the concealer. So I'm actually going to take a little bit of my foundation and I'm going to gently go over it. This actually helps. Because have you ever seen when you put on concealer and then you start putting on your foundation, you're like, I thought I just concealed that area. What happened? Well, you moved it. So we don't want to move it. So I'm just going to sponge over my area. You can go back in gently when you're finished with your brush and blend it out. And if you feel you need more coverage, just keep adding. You don't want it to look too unnatural. Okay, so now we have her. We've primed, well, we've corrected, we've primed, and we've added our foundation. Now I'm going to go ahead and just lightly dust her face because I want to set this right now. And then we'll move on to the fun part, the eyes and the eyebrows. So let me go ahead and grab some powder. I'll be right back. One of my favorites is the Makeup Forever. It comes in a stackable like this. It's a translucent powder and it actually comes in colors. Really great for setting makeup. It also is a matte powder, so it helps to control oil. So we're going to go ahead and set this, and I'm going to move right along. Now I forgot to tell you too, Benefit also has a pore professional, so for those of you who have open pores, you can try this as well and see how you like it. I would suggest going to get a sample of certain products because there are stores where you can go get samples. Try it out, see if you like it. You're not committed to buying anything. So my next step is, like I said, I'm going to prime her eyes. I always want to prime. You get a longer wear out of your makeup when you prime because it lasts longer. You don't have to put as much product. because usually on our skin, see how it seeps into the lines of your skin? Primer smooths that out, makes your skin look flawless. So I'm going to use the Urban Decay primer. There are so many different primers that you use. I have several different ones. I have the Milky Pencil I've seen people use before to really make colors pop. I have the MAC Painterly Pot, but I'm going to do something a little different today, so I'm just going to use the Urban Decay. Works very well as well. And again, you can apply with a brush or your fingers. And you only need a little bit. When you put the primer on, make sure you put a little bit here and just a little bit underneath. Again, that helps with your eyeshadows lasting longer. Now I'm going to do her eyebrows. She already has a really great arch, so I really don't have to do a lot. I know some people really go with the eyebrows, like some really defined brows. I live in Atlanta, so I know about the Atlanta eyebrows. But today I'm gonna keep it pretty natural, just because she has beautiful eyebrows as well. I'm using one of my favorite brow pencils. It's by MAC, and I'm using spiked. One thing about brow pencils, if you need to know what color to use, if you have light hair, you want to go 1 to 2 shades darker. If you have dark hair, you want to go 1 to 2 shades lighter when you're filling in your brows. You want them to look as natural as possible. So I'm just going to do short strokes to fill in any areas. Okay, and I'm going to brush it through so that the color doesn't just stand out on the brows. I actually want to blend that. Everything is about blending, so I'm going to blend that through. And I did extend it out a little bit. You want your eyes, you want it to, you see, you should line up everything to be symmetrical. Hers is a little bit short, so we're going to extend it down just a little bit. See? Now, to keep the brows in place, if you have those strays that kind of go everywhere or unruly, this is like a clear brow gel. I know it kind of looks brown, but it's actually kind of clearish brown. You could put this in there and it helps set them. Funny thing is, I used it on my husband this morning. He has those eyebrows that are simple. And if you happen to mess up, you can go back and clean it up with concealer to make them look more precise and perfect. But again, she has a great shape. Whoever did her eyebrows did an awesome job. Kudos to me. No, I'm just playing. I didn't do it. But she has a great shape, so I really don't have to go back in and perfect this because they look great already. Okay, so for the front part, remember I told you there's so many different ways to prime your eyes. I use the Urban Decay primer. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this as my pencil. It's a Sephora crayon pencil. I like to use this a lot. It helps pop your eyes as well. I'm just going to put this on the lid. I'm actually going to go over it with the powder because that, as you can see, kind of creases. So now I'm going to put my shadow on with a regular eyeshadow brush. And out of this palette, I'm going to play around with a lot of different colors. So I'm actually going to start with that green and probably bring in some more. I'm just going to keep it fun. So when you pat, you actually get more color instead of blending. That softens it. If you want more color, press it in. And if you tap off the excess, you don't worry about too much falling out. Or you could just clean it up when you get finished with a Q-tip. And the powder, it just comes right off because I've already set it with powder. So it just comes right off. And I wanted to do green. She has beautiful eyes, so this green look good on her eyes. Plus, it's in for the season. Why not? Pantone Universe Emerald Green colors. Pretty. So now that I have the green, I'm going to define the crease. And I love defining the crease. I'm going to do a couple of different colors. But one of the colors I love to use is Swiss Chocolate. It is by MAC. And I use another eyeshadow brush, and I just use the tip because I want to blend that green out and define her crease. And the crease is, if you can feel, it's where your eyeball is. If you push in, it's that area that you're defining. Look at me. Okay, now I've defined her crease. And the key is to just keep blending. Everything should be blended out. Now, as I said, I'm gonna make this a little bit fun. I'm gonna come back and clean it up and everything, but I wanna make this a little bit fun. So I'm going to add in some blues. I'm just gonna put it kind of on the outside too. And again, I don't have a lot of fallout because I tap my brush off. And I'm gonna go back in and blend that out. Now if you want to, if you lost some of your color, you can go back in and add a little bit more of that green. And that pencil gave me kind of a shimmery effect, so it looks really, really pretty. And then of course, you can highlight right underneath that eyebrow arch area. And I use a really pretty, like, iridescent color. Smoothing out my edges because I don't want a whole lot of harsh edges. So I've already completed and finished the eye look. I blended it out, softened it out, added the lashes, close your eyes, and did a little bit of a liner. I like the black liner for a dramatic effect. You don't have to do that. You can keep it softer. But heck, she has a beautiful eye structure, so I want to bring that out and enhance that. I actually added a little bit of color, a little bright shimmery color in the inner corner. The same color I use on the brow bone is the color I use on the inside. It just opens up the eyes, adds another effect. I'm going to use a green pencil, another Sephora pencil. You can use Urban Decay. They have great pencils, Makeup Forever. And I'm actually just going to line, look up, her bottom waterline. I've lined her bottom waterline, and I'm going to smoke it out, going with the same colors with that blue. I'm going to blend it in her lashes a little bit. And again, I just use the tip of my eyeshadow brush, so a regular eyeshadow brush will work any way you feel comfortable with. And again, I dust it off. Look up for me. And I'm just going to put it right in her lashes. Now, I didn't contour, but you can definitely contour. I'll just take a color like a foundation powder color, a shade darker than she is, or 2 shades darker than she is, and you can actually go in and contour. This is a darker color, clearly. You can go in, and some people use the W around the forehead, from the ear, that cheekbone, where it sinks in right there, right in that cheekbone, and I just work that in, right under the neck, this area, turn this way. And I'm lightly doing it because I want to contour too much right now. The purpose of this video is to really focus on the eyes. I want to enhance her cheekbone a little bit. And then you can go back in and put a highlighter to really make those cheekbones pop. And now for blush. So for blush, I'm just gonna use a regular flush color. If you wanna know what color blush is good for you, there's a test. You squeeze your fist and then you press on the bottom of your finger. Match that up to blush colors and that'll be your perfect blush color, because it's supposed to be natural. Like if somebody kisses you or you laugh or you're cold, the color that you show, that's your natural flush. So you wanna squeeze your fist, let that blood flow, and then push it. So I'm just gonna add her blush. So we finished her look. We started with priming, well, skincare, priming, concealing, foundation. We primed our eyes, enhanced our eyebrows. We added a nice little blush, gave her a nice pinky lip. Oh, and I'm sure you're gonna ask, it is the NYX lip liner in nude. And I used over that, this is I love crayon pencils. It makes your job so much easier. This was a Sephora pencil and it gives it a little shine and gloss. It's called Gorgeous Peach. We're in the peach state, so she's a Georgia peach, y'all. And this is our finished look. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel, leave questions, comments, follow me at Miss Makeup One. You can also look me up on Facebook, Patricia Reflections More. I couldn't even remember. But subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. The more you subscribe and give me feedback, the more tutorials I can do. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it.